All Elite Wrestling has carved a controversial reputation when it comes to building new stars. In its 6-year history, the company has seen its most prominent homegrown talents, those who didn't ascend to stardom in other major promotions, include MJF, Tony Storm, the acclaimed Swerve Strickland, Hangman Adam Page, Darby Allin, and Will Ospreay. Yet amidst this roster of rising stars, many wrestlers with untapped potential have seen their momentum stifled by poor booking or lengthy absences from television. Names like Britt Baker, Wardlow, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs linger in limbo, victims of a roster that often feels underutilized and overshadowed. Fans are frequently drawn to shows like NXT, where younger stars seem to have a clearer path to development and championship glory. To cultivate new talent, it's essential to weave them into engaging storylines and ensure their victories matter, maintaining their momentum to prevent long-term irrelevance. The wrestling audience craves not just talent, but a narrative that elevates these talents into the spotlight. One talent I'm particularly concerned about is Kyle Fletcher. On one hand, he's delivered cutting-edge matches alongside Will Ospreay, crafting narratives that keep audiences on the edge of their seats. With a shrewd manager like Don Callis at his side, he excels in the role of a villain, drawing heat and captivating the crowd's attention. However, following his acclaimed bout with Ospreay at Revolution, one many argue should have headlined the event. I worry he may vanish from screens due to poor booking. The fear lingers that he could be relegated to tag team matches, facing defeat, robbing him of his burgeoning star power. In this fantasy booking, I aim to maximize Kyle Fletcher's potential for the remainder of the year. He's a piece of iron glowing with promise. Strike while it's hot. I envision him as a formidable TNT champion, making every pay-per-view a must-see event. AEW Dynasty 2 weeks before the showdown, Daniel Garcia steps into the spotlight on AEW Dynamite, his voice booming through the arena. The crowd, a sea of excited faces, hangs on his every word as he recounts his incredible matches with Adam Cole. With each phrase, he builds anticipation for their main event clash on Collision, declaring that the winner must emerge victorious or he will relinquish the title. A true champion always wins, he asserts, the energy in the room crackling with fervor. On Saturday, March 29th, the main event of Collision unfolds, and the atmosphere is electric. Garcia faces Cole in a taut 30-minute match that ignites the audience. The sound of fists meeting flesh reverberates through the packed arena, punctuated by the cheers and gasps of the crowd. Each strike is a thunderclap, echoing off the walls of the venue as sweat glistens under the bright lights. Garcia finally secures a hard-fought victory, and as the celebration begins, chaos erupts backstage. The footage reveals the Don Callis family ambushing the Undisputed Kingdom, hurling them through tables strewn with cake and shattered champagne bottles, shattering the celebratory atmosphere into disarray. Suddenly, Kyle Fletcher bursts through the crowd, a whirlwind of energy, his eyes alight with determination. He vaults into the ring, adrenaline coursing through his veins, and smashes 2 champagne bottles over the backs of Garcia and Cole. The glass shards glint like stars as they scatter across the canvas, the sharp sound of shattering glass marrying the roar of the crowd. The show climaxes with Fletcher hoisting the TNT Championship high, a sinister smirk painted across his face, signaling his intent to dominate. As the show overruns, he addresses the crowd, his voice laced with venom. "Why, Kyle, why?" he mocks. "Danny boy, you claim that a real champion wins all the time. Well, I win all the time, and Will Ospreay is the biggest fucking cheater, and because I'm better than you, Danny boy, you don't deserve this title. Collision will be my show, and it's time I claimed what's rightfully mine. See you at Dynasty, where I'll begin the era of Kyle Fletcher." At AEW Dynasty, the stage is set with 2 tantalizing matches, the Undisputed Kingdom versus the Don Callis family, with the winner earning a shot for the ROH Trios Championship at Supercard of Honor in Atlantic City. The other match, Kyle Fletcher versus Daniel Garcia in a First Blood match. In AEW, the stipulation for a First Blood match dictates that a competitor must not only draw blood from their opponent, but also secure a pinfall to win. As the match opens, the atmosphere crackles with tension, the crowd roaring with anticipation. The ring is a canvas of violence as Kyle unleashes a bloodbath on Garcia, each strike echoing like a drumbeat of war. The scent of sweat and adrenaline fills the air, and the sharp tang of blood soon punctuates the atmosphere. Garcia, undeterred, retaliates with fervor. The audience gasps as he counters Fletcher's offense, each blow met with a chorus of cheers. The match stretches out for a gripping 30 minutes, showcasing both competitors' unique blend of brawler and high-flyer offense. The ring becomes a battleground, with bodies crashing against the canvas, limbs tangled, and the sound of grunts and shouts filling the air. Notably, the Don Callis family refrains from interference, breaking the mold of villainous cheating, a decision that strengthens both competitors' credibility. Kyle Fletcher ultimately emerges victorious, bloodied but triumphant, his hand raised high amidst the cacophony of the crowd. With Dynasty 2 weeks away and only 3 matches announced, this brisk encounter delivers a punchy narrative while seamlessly foreshadowing Kyle Fletcher's ascent to the main event scene. The length of the match ensures that Garcia isn't squashed, respecting their similar body types and building anticipation for future encounters. Following Dynasty, Kyle appears on Collision, a blood orange cake in tow, its vivid red filling symbolizing his brutal victory over Garcia. The cake features an icing depiction of the bloody moment when Garcia was left unconscious, a shocking element designed to elicit gasps from the crowd. As he presents the cake, the arena buzzes with excitement, the audience drawn into his theatricality. Then Adam Cole strides to the ring, announcing a forthcoming match against Garcia for the TNT Championship at Ring of Honor's Supercard of Honor in Atlantic City. At Supercard of Honor, the match unfolds without stipulations, as Kyle Fletcher can't rely solely on brutality, a tactic that risks becoming stale. The atmosphere is charged with tension as the fans await what promises to be an explosive encounter. In a dramatic twist, he resorts to cheating in the final moments to secure a win, stirring the ire of the crowd. The audience erupts with boos as he slyly uses the ropes for leverage during the pin, a calculated move that showcases his villainous cunning. Following the match, he unleashes another brutal assault on Adam Cole. The crowd gasps as Kyle savagely dismantles Cole, delivering a series of punishing strikes. Daddy Magic, breaking away from the announce table, attempts to intervene, desperation in his eyes, but Kyle Fletcher disposes of him with ruthless efficiency. The scene is chaotic, a whirlwind of violence and drama, and it's announced that the TNT title will be defended in Phoenix at Double or Nothing, Kyle Fletcher versus Daddy Magic. This match promises to be a highlight as both competitors boast a rich history in Ring of Honor, setting the stage for thrilling encounters and the potential for a rematch with Garcia. However, at AEW Double or Nothing, the anticipated clash between Daddy Magic and Kyle Fletcher is thrown into chaos. Just moments before the match is set to begin, Daddy Magic is found unconscious, a victim of Don Callis' machinations before he could reach the ring. It's a shocking revelation that electrifies the crowd. Holding the bloody body of Daddy Magic, Don Callis smirks at the camera, presenting him as a gift for Kyle. Don declares that Daddy Magic isn't worth his time, so that's why a beatdown on him was a special gift for Kyle. The sinister tableau unfolds under the glaring arena lights, sending chills through the audience. Just as Kyle revels in the moment, Daniel Garcia ambushes him from behind, igniting a wild brawl that spills out into the arena. The atmosphere is electric as the two men trade blows, their bodies colliding with the barricades, the sound of flesh meeting flesh echoing through the venue. The crowd is on its feet, the tension palpable as they witness the chaos unfold. Later in the show, Garcia announces that at AEW Blood and Guts, a new pay-per-view, he will face Kyle Fletcher in a Texas Bull Rope match. The stakes are raised, the winner walks into All In as the TNT champion. This booking decision not only adds layers to the narrative, but also generates excitement for the biggest show of the year. It presents a unique opportunity for both men to shine, with the added thrill of a championship on the line, heightening the anticipation for All In. The notion of a Texas Bull Rope match conjures images of brutal, hard-hitting action, and the crowd can hardly contain its excitement, imagining the violence that awaits. Ultimately, this storyline not only solidifies Kyle Fletcher's position as a top villain in AEW, but also sets the stage for unforgettable matches and dramatic encounters that will keep fans glued to their screens. The journey of Kyle Fletcher is just beginning, and as he carves his path through the landscape of AEW, the audience is left eagerly anticipating what comes next. In the heart of St. Louis, Missouri, the arena thrums with anticipation as Kyle Fletcher and Daniel Garcia prepare to clash in a Texas Bull Rope match at AEW Blood and Guts. The atmosphere is electric, a palpable tension hanging in the air as fans chant fervently for their favorites. The bull rope lies coiled in the center of the ring, a harbinger of brutality, promising a contest where every strike, every ounce of pain will be shared and felt deeply. As the bell rings, both competitors charge at each other with reckless abandon. The sound of their fists meeting flesh is like thunder rolling across the arena. Kyle, with a fierce intensity, delivers brutal punches, each strike aimed to destabilize Garcia. The crowd gasps as a punch lands squarely on Garcia's jaw, sending him staggering back. Sweat glistens on their skin, and the scent of adrenaline fills the air, creating an intoxicating mix of excitement and aggression. Bound by the bull rope, every move becomes a struggle for dominance. Kyle yanks on the rope, pulling Garcia closer and unleashing a vicious lariat that sends him crashing to the mat. The impact reverberates throughout the venue, a harsh reminder of the violence on display. Garcia, resilient and determined, fights back, using the rope to his advantage. He wraps it around Kyle's neck, pulling him down with sudden ferocity, drawing cheers from the audience as the tide begins to turn. The violence escalates. Kyle pulls out all the stops, using the rope to choke Garcia against the turnbuckle. The crowd roars in shock and horror as Garcia gasps for breath, his face turning a shade of crimson, a visceral reminder of the brutality they are witnessing. Yet he refuses to back down. With sheer will and a surge of adrenaline, he retaliates, using the rope to drag Kyle into a series of punishing moves that leave the crowd roaring with approval. As the match spills outside the ring, the rope still tethering them together, the stakes rise dramatically. They crash into the guardrails, the sickening thud of bodies meeting wood sending shockwaves through the audience. The arena erupts as Garcia dives under the ring, emerging with a steel chair. The crowd buzzes with excitement and dread as he swings it at Kyle, who narrowly dodges the attack, the chair smashing against the ring post with a deafening clang that reverberates through the venue. Back inside the ring, the atmosphere intensifies. Kyle, ever the cunning villain, feigns injury, luring Garcia in for a surprise attack. In a heart-stopping moment, he delivers a low blow that sends Garcia crumbling to the mat, the audience gasping in disbelief. But rather than succumbing to despair, Garcia digs deep, utilizing the bull rope to tie Kyle's legs, rendering him vulnerable. The crowd erupts as Garcia ascends the turnbuckle, the arena shaking with anticipation. He leaps off, delivering a devastating splash onto Kyle, the impact shaking the ring and sending a shockwave through the audience. As the referee counts 1, 2, 3, Daniel Garcia emerges victorious. The arena explodes in cheers as he stands tall, a mixture of triumph and relief washing over him. Kyle Fletcher, still reeling from the defeat, is left to contemplate his arrogance, a defeated smirk fading as he acknowledges Garcia's hard-fought victory. This win not only saves Garcia from being buried, but also sets the stage for future rivalries, establishing him as a credible competitor ready for the spotlight. With Daniel Garcia re-established as a formidable force, the narrative shifts for Kyle Fletcher. As he grapples with the aftermath of his loss, his ambitions remain unbroken. The AEW All-In event looms large, where he sees an opportunity to capture a championship contract in a high-stakes ladder match, an event reminiscent of Money in the Bank. Here, Kyle's cunning and ruthlessness come to the forefront as he employs every dastardly tactic in his repertoire to claim victory, solidifying his role as a major player in AEW. The ladder match is a chaotic affair, with bodies flying everywhere as competitors scramble for the coveted prize dangling above the ring. The atmosphere is frenetic, a whirlwind of high-flying maneuvers and brutal strikes. Kyle, ever the opportunist, uses his agility to outmaneuver his opponents, climbing ladders with a mix of desperation and determination. He employs a series of underhanded tactics, shoving opponents off ladders, using the ropes to gain leverage, and even employing distractions to gain the upper hand. The crowd is on the edge of their seats, gasping as he narrowly avoids disaster time and time again. In the thrilling climax, Kyle finally reaches for the contract, his hand grasping the briefcase, just as another competitor makes a last-ditch effort to stop him. But with a swift kick, he sends them crashing to the mat below, securing his victory in a moment that sends shockwaves through the audience. The roar of the crowd is a mix of admiration and disdain as Kyle revels in his triumph, holding the contract aloft like a trophy, his arrogance shining through. Over the following months, Kyle flaunts his newly acquired contract, boasting of his power and influence while putting it on the line against various challengers. Each match becomes a spectacle, a demonstration of his ability to manipulate situations to his advantage, drawing both ire and intrigue from the audience. His victories are often marred by controversy. He employs distractions, underhanded tactics, and the occasional interference from the Don Callis family, showcasing his willingness to do whatever it takes to maintain his status. At AEW Forbidden Door in London, Kyle faces a unique challenge against his friend and ally, Konosuke Takeshita. The dynamic is fraught with tension as they battle for ambition, the atmosphere thick with unspoken words. Kyle believes in giving his friend an opportunity, but his desire for victory ultimately leads him to betray that friendship. The match is an emotional roller coaster, filled with high spots and near falls that keep the audience on the edge of their seats. In the end, Kyle resorts to deceitful tactics to secure the win, using the ropes for leverage during the pin. Takeshita, despite the betrayal, chooses to remain loyal to the Don Callis family, setting the stage for further conflict and character development down the line. The crowd is left with a mix of shock and disappointment, knowing that the bond between the two friends has been irrevocably altered. As AEW All Out approaches, Kyle finds himself defending his contract against Mark Briscoe, a former Ring of Honor champion. This match is pivotal for Kyle, demonstrating his readiness to compete at any level. The encounter is hard-hitting and emotional, with both men exchanging brutal strikes and showcasing their resilience. The crowd is fully invested, chanting for both competitors as they push each other to their limits. In a thunderous finish, Kyle manages to outsmart Briscoe, trapping him in a submission hold that forces him to tap out, solidifying his status as a top-tier talent. The victory is bittersweet, as he knows that the more he wins, the more enemies he creates. At AEW Wrestle Dream, the stakes escalate once more as he faces Kazuchika Okada, a clash that symbolizes the Battle of Titans. Tired of Kyle's grandstanding, Okada is determined to put him in his place. The match showcases a blend of technical prowess and brutal strikes, with Kyle employing every dirty trick in the book to gain the upper hand. The crowd is split, some cheering for the legendary Okada while others rally behind the brash young star. With every near fall, the tension mounts. Kyle digs deep, delivering a series of devastating moves that leave Okada reeling. In a climactic moment, he pulls off a stunning upset, pinning Okada cleanly in the center of the ring. The victory is monumental, elevating Kyle to new heights and solidifying his status as a serious contender on the international stage. As the year culminates at AEW Full Gear, the spotlight shines on the showdown between Kyle Fletcher and Adam Copeland. The narrative is rich with history, pitting the arrogant young star against the seasoned veteran who has yet to reclaim his title. In a thrilling contest filled with drama and near falls, Kyle resorts to cheating once again to secure a controversial victory, solidifying his place as a top heel in the company. The aftermath leads to a rematch on AEW Dynamite, a street fight that further pushes the limits of their rivalry, with Kyle once again finding a way to win. Finally, at AEW World's End, the stage is set for a monumental moment. Will Ospreay, now the world champion, finds himself facing Kyle Fletcher, who cashes in his contract at the last moment. The atmosphere is electric as the audience buzzes with anticipation, knowing they are about to witness history. The match is a stunning display of athleticism and storytelling, filled with high spots and dramatic near falls that keep the audience on the edge of their seats. In the final moments, as Ospreay prepares to deliver his finisher, Kyle counters with a desperate low blow, the crowd erupting in a mix of gasps and boos. Seizing the moment, he rolls Ospreay up for the pin, securing the victory and crowning himself as the new world champion as they enter 2026. The moment is a culmination of his journey, a testament to his cunning and ruthlessness. In the ensuing months, all eyes turn to a colossal showdown at AEW Revolution 2026, where Kyle will defend his title against Will Ospreay. The stakes are monumental. If ratings falter, Ospreay regains the title. However, if Kyle proves to be a draw, he retains his championship, solidifying his status as a top-tier talent. As the story unfolds, the landscape of AEW shifts. Kyle becomes not just a champion, but a symbol of the brand's commitment to developing new stars. His journey is a testament to the potential of building new talents within the wrestling landscape, proving that with the right storylines and character development, even a villain can captivate the audience and become a cornerstone of the promotion. This carefully crafted booking not only positions Kyle as a credible champion, but also emphasizes the importance of storytelling in wrestling. The focus on his growth, rivalries, and championship pursuits highlights the need for AEW to utilize its talent effectively, ensuring that no one is left to languish without direction. In doing so, Kyle Fletcher becomes a pivotal figure in AEW, creating a legacy that resonates with fans for years to come.